Welcome back to Predicting the NFL with Mickey G. It's yours truly, Mickey G, and it is Christmas. Recording this right now, Christmas Eve. This will be out Christmas Day, so you can watch it with your family. That is a stink bug. That is like, oh, it's dead. Okay. Christmas Day. I'm tired. It's after festivities. It's 11:17 p.m. right now. I'm a little tired, so we're gonna try to get through this a little quickly here. So I can get it all done and edited for tomorrow. That being said, last week we went 11-5. Okay, we're picking it up. Last 11-5, last 2 weeks. Game of the week incorrect, upset correct again. The Lures took down the Lions. Crap fest we also got correct, which has not been the case recently. Jersey team did lose, and so did my pick. Quinn, unfortunately, his team's letting him down. A lot of drop passes, a lot of tipped passes to interceptions and all that kind of stuff. A fumble or two from other guys. They're just letting them down. It's just the Dolphins, man. They're just not good. But yeah, we went 11-5, so a pretty solid week, which takes our total now to 153-87. 8-8 in games of the week, 9-7 in upsets, 7-9 in crap fests. Jersey teams are 10-6, and so are my picks. We are third currently all time for record through 16 games. 2017 has one more at 154, and 2024 has three more at 156. The next 2 weeks for 2024 or 2025 are 10-6, 9-7. So we can catch up to that with just going 11-5 the next 2 weeks. And 2017 only had 17 weeks, but it went 10-6 as well. So getting 11-5, that's even across the board. It'll be even through week 17 with 2017, and 11-5 the next 2 weeks would be even with 2024. So that's kind of what we're aiming for. Obviously, better than that would be great, but we'll see what happens. Historically, in week 17, we are 58-38, so not too shabby. That's one of the higher level stuff. Speaking of last week, is now officially second place for all time in a week. 71-41 now. Best still being 74-30 in week 12, which is kind of ridiculous. 51-38. 2-3 in games of the week, 1-4 in upsets, 1-4 in crap fests. Jersey teams are 1-2, and my picks are 0-2. The reason those numbers do not line up is because the one Jersey team win is I wore a Buckeyes jersey that week, and they won because they're the Buckeyes and they're goated. The best week we've done in week 17 is actually 2018, 12-4. Now it's a little different now because that it was normally the last week of the season. Now with 18 weeks, it's a little different, but that's the best we've done in week 17. How did the betting go? We had another pretty good betting week. We did not completely double our money, unfortunately. We did go hover from 61.47 to 111.29, so in the last couple weeks, taking away those other bets has actually been really good for us when it comes to the betting. So that seems like it's the move from now on. So keeping along with that. For example, I have the over in the Hawaii game, the Hawaii Bowl currently, which is 28-24, which is 52. I think the over might have just hit. Hold on a minute. There we go. You can see Troy Polamalu's foot in the background. See? I banged it because you can't lose points, right? You can't lose points. So that's another banged win. You're welcome. I should really just be giving out these bets. This is just free money that everyone should have. We're doing good betting, basically, is the point. It helped the last week. There was a lot of plus money games that I got correct. For example, I had a parlay for the Niners game. McCaffrey touchdown, Dwan James touchdown, Niners money line. That hit. Patriots beat the Ravens, money. Steelers obviously were the upset of the week, money. Jags smoked the Broncos, money. The Vikings spread and Chargers money line, those both hit. So I had a lot of bangers that worked really well for us. James Madison covered against Oregon, that also hit. Miami beat Texas A&M. AJ Barner anytime touchdown. Puka anytime touchdown. Like we were on the money. You know, come to me for betting tips. But anyways, let's talk about last week. Let's talk about now this week though. Like I said, I'm tired. Let's get through this. Boom, boom, boom. First game of the week is the Cowboys at the Commanders. The Cowboys, while they've been disappointed, they're on a bit of a losing streak here. They had a big win over the Chiefs. They had 3 straight wins over the Eagles, Chiefs, or Raiders, Eagles, and Chiefs. And then they got beat by the Lions, and then I lost faith in them. And then they've lost the last 2 weeks to both the Vikings and the Chargers, and not particularly close games. That being said, they are going up against Washington, who is on a bit of a slide here. This is, they have lost 9 out of their last 10. All right, they are not looking good. Their only win being against the Giants, that are probably the worst team in the league right now. So, yeah, unfortunately, I don't think they're winning. They also have Josh Johnson starting at quarterback. Mariota hurt himself as well. So, yeah, we're going Cowboys in this one. Next is the Lions at the Vikings. Lions have also been a bit mid recently, losing 2 straight to the Steelers and the Rams, with their only lone win recently being against the Cowboys, who are obviously not great. Vikings, on the other hand, they've actually won a pretty significant amount of games the last few weeks, and I've picked them to do so. They smoked the Commanders 31-0. They beat the Cowboys, and then they just beat the Giants, even though it might have been one of the worst quarterback games of all time. 9 going up against Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart had one of the worst stat lines I've ever seen. 9 didn't play well either, and then he got hurt and Brosmer went in to save it for him. So that's who we get this week against the Lions, and I don't think Max Brosmer on a short week is going to do much of anything. I put faith in him before, and he did not score a point against the Seahawks, so I think that might happen again. So I am going with the Lions, unfortunately, in this one. Next is the Broncos at the Chiefs. Well, the Chiefs, everyone has been injured, or Rashee Rice on IR now. Gardner Minshew tore his ACL as well. That's the second quarterback for them to do that after Mahomes. So they have Chris Oludekin starting for them, which, you know, that's exciting, I guess. He's been in the league for a few years. I don't know anything about him. He went to South Florida, I think. South Florida, Samford, and South Dakota State is where he went to college. So I guess we get to see him. I think he played in the game. I don't think he did anything fun or special or exciting. That being said, the Broncos, they're coming off a tough loss to the Jags, who beat them because the Jags are goated. But the Chiefs are basically giving up on the season, which, to be fair, it is over for them. So get a good draft pick, I guess, because the Broncos are coming to town, and it's not going to be pretty. Speaking of, yeah, they're going to build a dome in Kansas. They're leaving Missouri. This is super lame. Arrowhead's one of the coolest stadiums. Everyone talks about Arrowhead. It's cool. It's called Arrowhead. That's a cool name for a stadium, and we're losing it because of woke or something. I don't know. Chiefs are going to lose it to the Broncos, and they're also going to lose a cool stadium. So it's actually very disappointing. Next, first of our Saturday games is the Texans at the Chargers. This is actually our game of the week. These are 2 teams that are playing phenomenal football right now. I had kind of given up on the Chargers, and they said no. They have won 7 out of their last 8. Their only loss coming to the Jaguars, in which they got smoked. Beat the Cowboys, Chiefs, and Eagles in consecutive weeks. They're looking pretty good. They've surprised me a lot. They're going to have probably their toughest test defensive-wise against the Texans this week. Everyone knows about their defense. They've been playing really well recently. They themselves are on a 7-game win streak. The loss before that coming to the Broncos. So I guess they're just not as good as the Jaguars, ignoring the fact that they did beat the Jaguars in that 7-game stretch. I kind of like the Chargers in this. The people like the Chargers at all. This isn't even an upset pick here. The way the Herbert's playing, even with how struggling their offensive line is, I can't go against them. So I'm going with the Chargers here. It's going to be a tough one. This is why it's the game of the week, though. These 2 teams are playing great right now, and it should be a good matchup. Next is the Ravens at the Packers. 2 disappointing teams, actually. The Packers, on one hand, had themselves a bit of a 4-game win streak against 3 divisional opponents, and also the Giants, and then decided to lose the last 2 to the Broncos and the Bears. Jordan Love hurt himself last week. Micah Parsons hurt himself the week before. They have a couple more injuries going on. but Love is expected to play. That being said, the Ravens, on the other hand, they were a team that it looked like when Lamar came back, they were going to just sprint and jump their way into a free division title, but they've lost 3 out of their last 4 to Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and the Patriots. The lone win in that section being against the Bengals, so they split with them, but both these teams need a win, and I think the Packs are going to get it. I just don't have much faith in the Ravens, and we don't even know if Lamar's playing. It could be Tyler Huntley out there starting, so just kind of gross football that I don't really want to be a part of. Speaking of, the Ravens probably should have won the game against the Patriots this past week. Derrick Henry scored a touchdown to go up with like 11 minutes left in the fourth, and then didn't see the field the rest of the game because apparently John Harbaugh is an absolute moron. So that's something to keep an eye on, just the fact that they can't manage a game at all. So I'm going with the Packers here. Next is the Cardinals at the Bengals. Now, I do love Jacoby Brissett, and he's doing a great job leading this tank, okay? He's putting up numbers each week. He's playing fun football. They just can't win a football game, unfortunately, and I don't think that's changing here. I don't like the Bengals. I don't like Joe Burrow, but they kind of dismantled the Dolphins last week, and I feel like the Cardinals are a pretty similar team in that regard. So I think the Bengals can go out there, and it should be not too much of a difficulty for them. Next is the Steelers at the Browns. Divisional matchup. Last year we had a surprise Jameis Snowball that got them a little victory, but I don't think that's happening here. I love Shadur. He's playing his heart out. Kept it close against the Bills. Almost actually was able to come away with a victory, but the Browns are trying to lose football games, and that's the reason they lost. You know, they're just trying to keep a strong black man like Shadur down. Steelers, on the other hand, they're actually playing the best football they've played all season, I think. They completely dismantled the Lions. It came down to the very end, but it shouldn't have been something that happened. 3-game win streak currently for the Steelers against the Ravens, Dolphins, and Lions. Not necessarily the top tier of teams, which is why they should be able to take care of the Browns here. So that's why I'm going with Pittsburgh. Next is the Saints at the Titans. This is our crap fest of the week. It was originally not going to be. I was going to have a different game be, but you'll see why it's not later. That being said, the Saints are actually playing decent football recently. 3-game win streak currently for Tyler Shuck and the fellas against not the worst teams either. The two leaders in their division currently, Tampa and Carolina, both lost to them, and then they also got a win over the Jets this past week, and it was not close at all. 29-6 was the final score of that one, so they're playing pretty good football. The Titans, however, they got their first win in a while over the Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs are not a real football team, so I guess that is fair and understandable, but I do like what I've seen from Shuck recently. I think they might have the better roster overall. Jawan Johnson's playing great football. Taysom Hill had a fantastic game, and Olave is kind of going off. So I really do like the Saints this one, and I hate the Titans, so I'm not picking them. Next is the Jags at the Colts. The Jaguars have themselves a bit of a win streak recently, and they just had their biggest win of it. They had a collapse against the Texans back in Week 10, and since then they have gone 6 straight with victories. Now, that being said, not against the best opponents, but they've been taking care of business, okay? And obviously the big win, a 14-point victory over the Broncos last week is huge. But they get to go against the Chiefs this time and not against a Daniel Jones who's injured and then leaves the game, or against a Riley Leonard who's just not good. They're going up against Phillip Rivers, who's been trying his best to win football games for the Colts, but just has not been able to get it done. And I don't think he's getting it done here. The Jags are looking fantastic right now, and they can really just take charge of things and keep themselves alive for that potential number 1 seed in the AFC. So kind of a big play for them. So I'm going with the Jags here. I mean, obviously I was never going to pick against them. Let's be so for real. The Buccaneers at the Dolphins. Quinn disappointed me last week. Not necessarily him, just the Dolphins disappointed me. Quinn didn't. But the Buccaneers, they've been disappointing me. They have looked quite bad, actually. They have won 1 game in their last 7, and that was against the Cardinals, who are dog water. That includes a loss to the Falcons and the Saints, and then also the team they're fighting for the division for with the Panthers. That being said, both these teams are not great, and it probably makes more sense for the Panthers to lose than to try to win. And the Buccaneers need this game to kind of stay in it. I mean, the Panthers probably losing their game, but that's neither here nor there. The Buccaneers got to focus on their games and them winning. So I'm going with the Buccaneers here. I'm not super happy with that pick. I kind of really like Dolphins spread here. Buccaneers have been playing bad, and all their wins have been one score besides the Saints the first times that they played them. And also the Niners, apparently. What the heck? Weird football team, and I don't like them a lot right now. So either this is a get-right game for them, and they blow them out of the water, or it's close, and they potentially even lose to the Dolphins. But that being said, I got to go with Baker and the boys to get this one done. Next is the Patriots at the Jets. Patriots' big win last week over the Ravens after the loss to the Bills. And the Jets still have Brady Cook at quarterback. So I'm definitely not picking the Jets to do anything. So we're going with a nice victory here for the Patriots. Our jersey game of the week, as you see, I got the Kerry Collins on. It's the Seahawks at the Panthers. Panthers could put themselves in a 2-game lead with a win, but I don't think that's happening. I think they're going to lose to the Seahawks because, let's be honest here, the Seahawks are playing pretty good football right now. Well, besides Darnold potentially holding them back, the rest of the team is playing fantastic. That Thursday night game was really fun to watch, but really should not have gone down the way it did. They're currently on a 5-game win streak with wins over the Titans and 9. Actually, that wasn't even over 9. It was over 12. Brosmer. So those were easy, and then the Falcons, they took care of business. They almost lost to Rivers, and then they snuck away with a win against the Rams last week. But the Panthers are pretending to be a sneaky team, and they're just not, okay? No one from the NFC South scares me at this point. I was a big Buccaneers fan going into it, but injuries to Baker and a lot of the rest of the team just kind of tucked the wind out of the sails for me. So I'm going Seahawks, and I don't particularly like it, though. Next is our upset of the week. It's the Giants, the Raiders. You're probably thinking to yourself, how is this not the Crop Fest? And is there even an upset team in this? Well, according to fans and the betting lines, the Giants are the favorites here for some reason, and I don't really get it. The Giants have not won a game since Week 6 when they beat the Eagles. And Dart has played terrible since then. He had one of the worst games I've ever seen from a quarterback. It was impressive how badly it was. 7 of 13 for 33 yards and a pick. 2 rushes for 7 yards. Sacked 5 times for 20 yards. Just all around terrible football. Just really gross. Whereas, on the other hand, the Raiders actually had themselves a decent game last week. They kept it really close with the Texans, who have the best defense in the league, and they were able to put up 21 points on them. So, impressive game from them. Geno looked a lot better than he has in weeks. I think that's because he was able to sit out a week and let Kenny Pickett get some hoops in before coming back. And then also Ashton Jeanty with 180, almost 190 all-purpose yards and 2 touchdowns was a fantastic performance for him. So I really like the Raiders in this one, but apparently it's close in the spreads, and fans are picking the Giants to win, so I'm going the opposite. Next is the Eagles at the Bills. This should be a solid game. Both teams are a little underachieving this year, which is a little disappointing to see. But they're both still good football teams, just not great to where they were a couple of years ago. Eagles last year. I like the Bills here. The Eagles have had some stinky games recently. They kept the Washingtons around for far too long. So I'm going with the Bills here. Next is the Bears at the Niners. I'm still not convinced the Bears are legit. They have too many games where they just look terrible, and then they sneak it out at the end. And I don't think Shanahan's a guy to let that... Oh, wait. He is someone that lets big comebacks happen. Interesting. But now he's got Salah at DC instead of whoever was in Atlanta. So I think that potentially changes here. Bears, I don't think are legit, whereas the Niners are on a bit of a streak themselves. 5-game win streak. Granted, not against the best opponents: Cardinals, Panthers, Browns, Titans, Colts, but they've been competitive in most of the games they've played against good teams. I think they're just right in that tier below the top, I would say, and I think that's just kind of where the Bears are for me as well. And I just kind of like the Niners over them. They're at home, and I think that helps a little bit. Sunday night, I think they got it. Niners getting the win. And our last game is the Rams at the Falcons. I've liked what the Falcons have done the last couple weeks. I can't lie to you. 2 weeks in a row, they've gotten the wins against the Buccaneers and the Cardinals. Curse look good. Kyle Pitts is on a hot one. He's now got 5 touchdowns, continuing his streak of the Kyle Pitts number of touchdowns for each season he has. So that's very exciting. So probably no more touchdowns for him. And I think also the Rams are going to be furious after their loss last week to the Seahawks in a game that they should have won if not for a punt return touchdown and some lucky breaks. So I'm going with the Rams here in this one to close out this week. I said I was going to try to be quick, and that's just not at all what happened. So whatever. But thanks for checking out. Make sure to watch this with your family instead of the games, because they're going to be trash. I'll be shocked if any of them are good. But thanks for watching. Make sure to come back next week. And as always, I don't know, bye. I don't know if that's as always or not, but